In this video, I will be performing the world's first test of the Michelin CrossClimate 3 and the Michelin CrossClimate 3 Sport, which I'm really excited about, and comparing them to two of the best tyres in the segment, the Bridgestone Turanza All Season 6, which is very dry and wet focused, and the Pirelli Cinturato All Season SF3, which has won a number of my tyre tests already. If everything goes to plan, I will be creating an in-depth deep dive into exactly what these two tyres are and comparing them to the CrossClimate 2. But here's the quick rundown. The Michelin CrossClimate 3 is exactly what you think it is. It is the replacement to Michelin's famous all-season/all-weather tyre, the Michelin CrossClimate 2. The Michelin CrossClimate 3 Sport, well, this is I'm very interested in. It is still three-peak mountain snowflake marked, so in areas where you have to fit a winter tyre by law, this still qualifies as a winter tyre. But in theory, it should give us exactly what I've been asking for, and that is more steering response and a slightly more sporty behaviour when compared to a regular all-season tyre. Now, to find out exactly where it sits, I have, as I've said, the Bridgestone Turanza All Season 6, which is very good in the dry and wet, especially in the larger sizes, and the Pirelli Cinturato All Season SF3, which is very good everywhere. It's won a couple of my tyre tests now. And I will be testing these myself in the dry, wet, noise comfort and rolling resistance. And at the end of the video, we'll be looking at some snow data to see exactly how good the new Michelin CrossClimate 3 is and find out exactly what or if Michelin have compromised anywhere the CrossClimate 3 Sport to get that sporty behaviour. I'm really excited to find out how these new two tyres stack up, so let's get on with the testing. Wet handling. Now, this is only a 4-set test, so hopefully I won't speak for too long, but you know I love speaking about tyres, especially new ones. Now, around the wet handling lap, there's sort of 2.5 groups, I guess, in terms of lap time. The CrossClimate 3, as you might have seen in my previous video, they have improved the wet performance over the CrossClimate 2, but in this size, I'm sad to report, not quite enough. It is still about 3% down on lap time. However, the handling was lovely. It was easy, predictable, safe to drive. I've got no complaints with how the tyre behaved. It just lacked a little bit of bite compared to the others, and like I say, it was like 3% down. Next up was the Bridgestone Turanza All Season 6. Now, the Bridgestone, it's a bit inconsistent in the wet, I'll be honest. Like, sometimes it's amazing and sometimes it's pretty average, and in this size, it was amazing. It felt very much like the CrossClimate 3. It was nice and easy to steer, no surprises, no oversteer or anything, although this Golf GTI doesn't really give you oversteer unless you really try for it. But it was just a nice, easy, safe, balanced tyre. A little bit numb at the limit on the front axle if I was going to complain, but on the road, I don't think that would ever be an issue. So that just leaves two tyres, the Michelin CrossClimate 3 Sport and the Pirelli Cinturato All Season SF3. Now, headline, the Pirelli was ever so slightly faster. It was around 1%. And really, like, the Pirelli always delivers huge amounts of wet grip, and once again it did. However, let me talk to you a little bit about the CrossClimate 3 Sport. Now, I do wet braking before wet handling, as you do, because it's easier on the tyres, and we'll talk about that in a second. But when you're on one of these test weeks, you never really stop testing. Like, even on the way to wet braking, you're driving around, you're feeling like as you're turning the corners, if there's a little bit of a straight, you're doing some steering reactions. And it got me very excited about the CrossClimate 3 Sport, because on the way to wet braking, whenever I was turning, I was like, ooh, this has potential. Obviously, you're not fully loaded up on the way to a wet braking track, but just doing the little like steering reactions, like, ooh, this feels good. And when I got to wet handling, it delivered. The CrossClimate 3, while it perhaps couldn't out-deliver the Pirelli in terms of grip, it definitely out-delivered it in terms of sporty reactive handling. There's kind of 3 segments of tyres in terms of sportiness in this test. We have the CrossClimate 3, which is the mature cruiser, I guess. It's not a sporty tyre. You can really feel it driving around. It's very comfort focused. It is the most comfortable of the 3. I'll get onto comfort later in the video. And then you kind of have the Bridgestone and Pirelli in this 18-inch size. They're a bit of a hybrid. They're trying to keep that comfort and they're trying to be a tyre for everyone, but they're trying to have like an edge of sportiness too. And while they do, you can tell the CrossClimate 3 Sport is built to be a sports tyre. And on this GTI, honestly, it was fabulous. It's basically, as I said in the intro, I've been wanting someone to make an ultra high performance all season tyre, and they have. So good job to Michelin. And the grip, they have the grip to back it up. As for wet braking, all three tyres that we've just talked about, the Bridgestone, Pirelli and CrossClimate 3 Sport, they were within, I think, 0.6% of each other in wet braking. So that is, I'm not worried about the wet braking of any of them. As in the wet, the CrossClimate 3 was a little bit down in wet braking, about 10%. And I think it's slightly under-delivered in this size, but we'll find out later in this test. The CrossClimate 3 is trying to balance a lot more things than perhaps some of the other tyres, and it's trying to do everything well, and there has to be some sacrifices there when you're looking at the total tyre performance, especially of an all-season tyre. So that's how they stack up on the wet. I'm very impressed. Like I said, the Bridgestone and Pirelli, they are excellent in the wet in this size. Big fan of them. But the CrossClimate 3 Sport not only gives the grip, but it gives this. It gives the handling. As you're turning, you're digging in. Love it. So I'm very excited to find out how they're going to perform in the dry, because I've not yet done it. So let's go find out. Okay, how are these all-season tyres in the dry? Well, as usual, I started the dry testing on a big oval, testing things like small steering inputs, where you're just doing ever so slight lane changes or steering inputs to see how the tyre reacts around centre, and then bigger ones to see how it would react in an emergency situation, and they were all fine. The Bridgestone, we do this at many different speeds. The Bridgestone was fabulous at all speeds. The CrossClimate 3 just had a little bit of a delay to its steering at lower speeds, but once you're at highway speeds, it felt really good. The CrossClimate 3 Sport just felt a little bit stiffer and more direct during the lane change manoeuvre, like the tread pattern was stiffer. And then the Pirelli, it just had a little bit of elasticity to the steering, but we're talking very small differences. Now, as for the dry handling lap, you're probably not going to be doing dry handling on your all-season tyre, but I find it interesting anyway. And all the tyres were just 2.2% apart. It won't be surprising at this point to learn the Michelin CrossClimate 3 was the slowest. It's the comfort-orientated tyre of the bunch. And up until about 9/10, I would say it was as good as the Bridgestone, which was the benchmark in dry in my 19-inch test. Like, I can't give it a better compliment than saying up to 9/10 it was better than the Bridgestone. Well, I couldn't until today anyway. But it just felt great. Once you got to like 100% 10/10, I think on corner exit, the tread pattern just got a little bit overwhelmed. But this is a Golf GTI and we're pushing really hard on a high-speed, high-grip surface, so I'm not scoring it down for that. Next up, we had the Bridgestone and Pirelli pairing. As I just said, the Bridgestone was the benchmark in the dry subjectively in my 19-inch test, and it was still fabulous in its 18-inch size. I really liked driving on the Bridgestone. It was predictable, maybe a little bit numb around the limit, but other than that, fabulous. The Pirelli, well, this tyre, as always, has buckets of grip. It just holds on in the corners like you wouldn't believe. However, transiently, so if you're, like I said, in the lane change maneuvers, or if you're doing a high-speed direction change, you just get a little bit of instability on the tyre as the car moves around, but these differences are very small. And that just leaves the CrossClimate 3 Sport. Now, the differences, as I said at the start, the differences aren't quite as big as I thought they were going to be, judging how the tyre was sub-limit, but around the lap, it had the fastest single lap, it had the fastest averages of laps, and it had the best dynamics. I think where the biggest difference was mid-corner. You just felt more connected to the road surface. You felt like you still had some ability to change direction if you really needed to, and it was just a nice balanced package, even if it was ever so slightly typically Michelin, and that is understeer. But understeer is safe, and Michelin love being the safest tyre manufacturer in the world. I think I'm going to have to test this CrossClimate 3 Sport against the Pilot Sport 5 in the future. Let me know if that's a good idea in the comments. As for braking, well, the top three in dry braking were, I think, 0.8% apart. So, wonderful bunch in braking. The CrossClimate 3 was a little bit behind again, but these differences are small, and so the top three are now, without a doubt, the best three all-season tyres in the dry, and the CrossClimate 3 Sport, for me, is the best overall in dry. But let's see how that pays back in comfort, because obviously there's some compromises there somewhere. Comfort, now I'm going to try and get through this quickly, as this video is probably already really long and I've not yet got to snow. And due to weather in the week, I didn't get a chance to do a proper comfort lane, but I did go up and down what I would like to call the bumpy road about 1,000 times to get to and from braking, and I was analysing comfort during that a lot. And let's start with noise, because that's very quick. I couldn't really tell any difference between the Pirelli Bridgestone and CrossClimate 3 Sport in cabin on most surfaces, but the CrossClimate 3, it just had a nice tone to it. So I don't know if it was any quieter, but in cabin, I felt like on some of the surfaces, maybe not all of them, but on some of the surfaces, it just sounded nice. That was the best. If you're focused on noise, CrossClimate 3. If you're focused on comfort, CrossClimate 3. I've been going on about the CrossClimate 3's comfort bias this whole video, and it has paid back in comfort. The CrossClimate 3 Sport, trying to be the most sporty, is it the least comfortable? No, I would actually give that award, although everything's very close, I would give that award to Bridgestone, because the Bridgestone, it crashed a little bit over the bigger impacts, and I don't know, the car just seemed to bounce around a little bit more. The Pirelli was kind of in the middle, and the CrossClimate 3 Sport, now I'm not pretending this is a comfortable tyre. It's definitely not a comfort biased tyre. However, the firmness to it was like a mature firmness, and I actually liked it the best because it seemed to allow the car's suspension to do a better job, and that's important sometimes. So it was probably / definitely the firmest over the big impacts, but it wasn't what I'd call a bad firmness. It was a nice firmness, and like, if comfort is your thing, the CrossClimate 3 Sport isn't your tyre. The CrossClimate 3 is. But if you're worried about comfort when moving to a sporty all-season tyre, you don't have to be, because I think the CrossClimate 3 Sport did a great job. Okay, on to the snow performance of the tyres, which I do have data for, but it is not data I've generated myself, so here's the disclaimer. The following snow data is from the independent German organisation TÜV, which was generated at Michelin's request. However, it was not generated by Michelin drivers or on Michelin tracks, so I trust it to be good data. The CrossClimate 3 was the best overall in snow. It had the best snow traction, the best snow handling, and the best snow circle grip, only losing out to the Pirelli in snow braking. This continues the long tradition of the CrossClimate family being one of the, if not the best all-season tyre in winter conditions. Next up was the CrossClimate 3 Sport. Now this did surprise me. We know the Pirelli is incredible in the snow, and I thought Michelin would have had to compromise the snow performance to get more of that sporty feel, but apparently not. The CrossClimate 3 Sport was second in all 4 of the snow tests, showing remarkable consistency. I am so excited to test this tyre more in the future. Then it was the Pirelli, only 2.7% behind the CrossClimate 3 overall. And as I said, beating the CrossClimate 3 in the snow braking test. Honestly, the Pirelli is a wonderful tyre in the snow. It is more than enough, way more than enough for an all-season tyre. It's a fantastic product. Lastly, as we've seen in many tests, the Bridgestone Turanza All Season 6 was last in the snow by 7.8% overall. This is quite a gap, but as I always say, this is still vastly superior to a summer tyre. So for somewhere like the UK, where it has a wet winter rather than the snowy winter, it is plenty of snow performance for those 3 days every 4 years we get of snow. The last bit of data for the test is rolling resistance, and in true Michelin fashion, the CrossClimates were again in a league of their own, nearly 7% ahead of the third tyre, which was the Pirelli, and 17% ahead of the Bridgestone. That would actually cause some differences at the pumps, although they'd still be fairly small. The surprise might be that the CrossClimate 3 Sport had the lowest rolling resistance. However, the tread depth plays a big part in rolling resistance, and the CrossClimate 3 Sport starts with 6.1mm versus 7.3mm in this 18-inch we've tested. So I would guess that at equal tread depths, the CrossClimate 3 would at least match the rolling resistance of the Sport. The final piece of the puzzle is tread wear, i.e. how long these tyres will last in the real world. And sadly, I don't have data for this size, I'm sorry. As I explained in my preview video, Michelin expects the CrossClimate 3 to be the new best wearing tyre in the segment, but it'll be really interesting to see how the CrossClimate 3 Sport stacks up against its rivals. It is a Michelin, so I don't expect it to be bad, but as I said in the preview video, it's not going to be up there with the CrossClimate 3. So my final thoughts. Having the Bridgestone and Pirelli in this test is about as hard a challenge as I could give the new Michelin tyres. Obviously, the Continental All-Season Contact 2 is an excellent all-round tyre, and the Goodyear Vector 4-Season Generation 3, while old, is still winning tests, and I would have loved to include them, but I only had space for 2 competitors. I will of course be testing a way bigger group in the future. I'm excited to find out how that plays out. Subscribe, obviously, do your thing. So if you loved the CrossClimate 2, you will absolutely love the CrossClimate 3. It is nicer to drive. It has proved on the CrossClimate 2 in almost every objective area, including the big increase in tread life Michelin were targeting, which in theory, as I've said, puts it back at the front of the all-season tyres. If you want an all-season tyre with the best snow performance, the lowest rolling resistance, and excellent noise and comfort levels, this is the tyre for you. It's the CrossClimate 3. However, the CrossClimate 3 Sport is more my kind of tyre. The real benefit of this tyre is how it will feel day to day, especially on these more sporty applications. And of course, that extra wet grip is a big plus for someone who lives in a very wet winter climate like the UK. Michelin say they intended to bring the fun to the all-season segment, and it really seems like they have. The next big question is, how does it feel compared to a dedicated summer tyre? And that is, of course, a question I am excited to answer, so subscribe for that in the future. Plus, obviously, the CrossClimate 3 Sport has that sidewall in every size, and that's going to sell tyres just by itself. As for the Bridgestone and Pirelli, well, there's not much more I can say about these tyres I haven't already said. So go watch my other videos if you want a really in-depth guide to them. But in summary, the Pirelli has been strong in every single test it's ever featured in. And I usually highly recommend the Bridgestone for a milder winter climate like the UK, where the snow performance of the tyre isn't as critical. It is a really exciting time if you're an all-season tyre shopper. There has never been a larger array of interesting options available, and thank you. While the all-season tyres do still fall under the jack-of-all-trades, master-of-none category, the improvement in the segment in the past few years has been dramatic and so fun for someone like me to watch and test. And now, thanks to Michelin, there's even fun options appearing, which I'm hoping other brands will match. Thank you, Michelin, for creating the CrossClimate 3 Sport. Subscribe for more interesting tyre content in the future. Any questions, please do ask below. Once you've tried the new Michelins, either the CrossClimate 3 or the CrossClimate 3 Sport, feel free to come back here and leave a comment or go to tyrereviews.com and review them. I cannot overstate how important reviews on the website are for me continuing to do what I do. It supports the channel in ways you probably don't appreciate. If you get time to do a review, thank you. Thank you for watching, and as always, safe motoring.